Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today on the show, I'm going to be sharing with you my newest, greatest love ever. So don't go anywhere. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Patty and this is my little corner of YouTube. If you are a new viewer, hello. It's lovely to see you. I hope that you will subscribe to the channel while you're here today. In fact, do it right now. Just don't even wait. Right down there. I think it's over here. It might be over here. I can never remember when I'm filming what side it is, but you know what I'm talking about. Hit that red subscribe button. Do it right now before you forget. And while you're at it, hit the little notification bell. That way you will always know when I have something new and exciting. And if you are a returning viewer, I super appreciate you coming back to watch the show today. I needed to just do things that were enjoyable, and so I cooked a bunch of stuff and I didn't take any pictures of it, and I didn't worry if it wasn't perfect. It didn't matter. It still tasted good, and I didn't have the pressure of creating the food photos, which can be really stressful. I did almost no knitting. I just needed a total break from it. And what I wound up doing was rediscovering sewing. I used to sew. I used to sew a lot. My mom and I used to do it together, and she made a lot of my like costumes for school plays. I went to like kind of a ritzy-ish private school when I was little, and so we did all these school plays, and I think I'll do a show where I'll show you some of the stuff from that. But she made me this really adorable colonial girl dress and little bonnet and the whole thing. Anyway, we'll dig that out and I'll share that with you. And we used to sew all of my own curtains, and that's like super old school to be sewing curtains, like Victorian type stuff. And that's what we do. And in fact, the balloon curtains that I have in my office right now, we made together, and this is fairly new. I did it over the winter. I didn't really share it on the channel because it was sewing, but I will pop in some footage now so that you can see the curtain. And you know what I like about this project is it's just straight seams, which is really good when you're getting reacquainted or learning. And I just stuffed like tissue paper in to make them fluffy in the balloon. But it was really fun. It got me back into the fabric store, and I was able to see what kinds of new things were there. And yeah, so I made this last winter, and then, you know, it was all this crazy deadline oriented blog stuff and knitting pattern releases and just all kinds of things, and I didn't sew anymore. I didn't have time. But when I hit that wall last month, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do, and it's not going to matter if I blog about it. It's not going to matter if I do videos about none of it. Just do it. Okay, so I'm going to show you something that is a very old project, and this is some of what I used to make. So hold on. So if you've been spending time on the channel, you know that I've been doing a lot of cleaning up and clearing out and decluttering and all that kind of stuff this year. And when I cleaned out some stuff in my garage, I found this. And it's like, it's a little wreath. And this is something that I made with my mom. And it's over 30 years old. I mean, it's really old. I made this a long time ago in the 80s, like country stuff was really super popular. So it was like all this ruffly stuff, like country home decor. So you had like painted geese, like a painted goose. That was super popular. And I used to do woodworking crafts and paint everything. I did all kinds of stuff. But this little sewing project. And then when I found that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot we used to make these. And it's just it's a straight seam. And you used to be able to get these round plastic rings. And I would like slit the ring on the little table saw thing that I had and feed the wreath on. And you know, you just kind of used to hang these up in your kitchen or wherever. And they were super popular. And I made gobs of these things. So I found it and I was like, oh, right. And it just, I still think the fabric is so pretty. The fabric is so nice. So I thought, well, what else can I sew that I can, you know, use around the house that can get me going again, that isn't going to be so complicated I'll never be able to figure it out? Because I think when we think about sewing, the big thing is that we think about is in terms of garments. It's all about garments, but there's a lot of other stuff that you can sew. And I happened to find a class listing at Joann's, because Joann's now is like the main fabric store everywhere. We're not going to get into that, but Joann's. So I saw a class to make a pillowcase, and it was like a 2-hour class, and you get to make this pillowcase. And I was like, yes, that's perfect. That's just what I need. It'll get me going again. I have been wanting to make my own pillowcases for a while, so I was like, super, let's take that. So I took the class, and it was awful. It was terrible. I could not sew this stupid pillowcase to save my life. I was really upset. I felt kind of left out of the class. I went and took it. I had to go to the next city over to take the class, and you know, the cities here are all very different. Each one has its own personality. It's kind of like the boroughs of New York, where it's all New York City, but each borough is very different. And so when you travel out of your home borough, you kind of, you know, you stick out a little bit. This is that way. And so I didn't really fit in, but I kept trying, you know, and I took this class, and everybody else finished and I couldn't finish. And I was like, am I so stupid that I cannot figure out how to make this easy project? And the answer is no. So what I did was I came home with my unfinished project, and I went on YouTube, and I found a wonderful tutorial. I will link to it in the description bar below. It's from Vanessa of Crafty Gemini, and Vanessa is wonderful. I have learned so much from Vanessa, and I watched that video and I was like, okay, now I understand why I had so much trouble. There were so many things. But let me show you what I made. Okay, so here is the project. Ooh, it's really cute. Look at this. Isn't that adorable? It's like little hedgehog illustrations. Oh, it's so cute. And the fabric is like a super soft flannel. It's probably a baby print, but you know, I don't care. I just really liked it. The colors were happy. So this is called a burrito roll-up pillow. And if you search that on YouTube, you'll find all kinds of different videos on it. I recommend watching several. It'll really give you a good feel for how the project goes together. But basically it's 3 parts. So you have the body, you have this little contrast trim, and then you have your edge. And what's so nice, there are many things that are nice about this, but when you look inside, look how nice the seams are. They're all finished. There's no raw edge. Look at that. It's all the raw edges are encased because everything is what they call a French seam. And it's a really interesting construction. So you basically cut out your 3 pieces, you put all the raw edges together, and then you roll it up, you sew it like a long burrito, and then you turn it out. And it's such a cool project. But this was hard, and what basically was so difficult for me was that this part was not wide enough. And so I went back and I got more of this fabric and I cut a much wider strip so that it was easier for me to roll the project. And I also learned that because it's a flannel, I needed to be sewing a more of a stretchy stitch, and so I had to change my tension. Now that was wrong, and I really feel like the sewing teacher should have known this. It was also because this is a directional fabric and I wanted my hedgehogs going this way and not that way. That was a bit of a disagreement because she just wanted me to cut it so that they went the other way, and I was like, I don't want my pillow to look like that. I want it with my hedgehogs like that. So I think when I butted heads with her on the fabric, that was an issue, but it's okay because I discovered the world of sewing videos and tutorials on YouTube, and wow, there's a lot. So this was my first project, and I love it. I love it so much. And so then I was like, all right, I'm going to make some more, and I'm going to show you what else I made. Look at this one. Oh my gosh, it's llamas. Let me move it in. Oh gosh. So it's llamas and cactus and succulents and pom-poms, and oh my gosh, I loved it. And it's the same thing. So this is a part, this is a part, and this is another part. I just cut the edge from the same fabric as this, and it's another directional fabric. So I learned that I really like directional fabrics, and when I put it on my bed, I wanted it so that, you know, when it's on the bed and I'm looking at it, I have one opening going this way and one opening going that way, which I was able to achieve. But you have to set the fabric up a certain way when you cut it to do that. And I was able to figure that out. And it was much easier to sew this on a woven fabric than on a stretchy. But anyway, so I did llamas. I did 2 of these. And then I made something super magical. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that? Oh my gosh. How cute is that? So on this one, I made the strip a little bit bigger, and I went with this polka dot. And I just love it so much. This fabric I bought a while ago, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I was going to use it to make the valance in the office, and then I thought, you know, come on. I'm like 50-something years old. 50-something-year-old women don't have Harry Potter curtains. So the fabric's just been sitting around. So I wound up making it into this pillow, and I also made a bunch of these little bags with it, which I think it's really cute in a bag. But I'm going to do a whole different video on the bags. We're not going to talk about those. Otherwise, this thing will just go on forever. But yeah, so I did that. This one, I added in some top stitching or edge stitching, but I forgot to fold the raw edge of the fabric over, and so that's a little bit of an issue. But you know what? I'm still using it. I absolutely love it. The sad thing is you can't get this fabric now. So, yeah, that's it. This one is really super funny. The same fabric turned up on a Christy Glass episode a couple of weeks ago, and I'll link to that. She was sharing some really cool project bags, and she had a project bag that somebody used this fabric to make the bag. And so that was really like a trip to see the same fabric turn up like on somebody else's channel. But here it is. And how hilarious is that? It's like all these like sexy farmers, which is just so funny. I've never seen a farmer that looks like this. Not anywhere, not ever. So you may or may not know this. Sometimes I forget what I tell you here on YouTube and what I share on Instagram. But I'm in the Master Gardening program. I'm an intern here in Virginia Beach. And right now, I did my classes last fall, which was super intense. Oh my God. Now I'm trying to get my hours in. That's been interesting. I'm a little slow. But I'm working on getting those hours in so that I can graduate the program. And so I'm with, around a whole lot of people that garden. There's no men in my gardening group that look like this, unfortunately, because, I might not mind all that weeding and hauling quite so much. But anyway, I just thought this fabric was hilarious. And because I do love plants and gardening and stuff so much, I was like, I gotta have that. What was really kind of odd about this fabric is this was in the children's section. And I don't really think that's a child's print, but that's where they had it. And then they had the gardening guys, they had sexy firemen. God, they had 3 or 4 of them. But all I can remember now is this one and the firemen. I don't know, but yeah. I don't think that's a child's print. But, it's pretty nice fabric. So after I kind of messed up on my Harry Potter contrast, this time what I did was I cut this a little bit wider, and then I remembered to flip it over, and I did an edge stitch and a top stitch. You can see that or not. Yeah, there you go. And so I thought that was really, really beautiful. I mean, these are nice pillowcases. You can never buy anything this nice. But let me tell you, it uses a lot of fabric. So if you make 2 of these, you're looking at almost 3 yards of fabric. So it's a lot of fabric. And if you're sewing, you already know how expensive the darn fabric is. But let me tell you, I have been in shock over the cost of the fabrics. We're talking like $10 a yard. What? So that's like, $30 for to make 2 pillowcases. We're not even, buying them. That's just the cost to make them. So I thought that was a little expensive, but what I have also learned is that when you go to Joann's, you only go to Joann's when you have coupons, just like at Michael's. Don't ever pay full price for stuff. Just wait until you have the coupons. And that helps. But it's still, sewing is not an inexpensive hobby. Just like knitting is not inexpensive. The last set that I'm going to share with you, they're not on pillows yet. And I probably should have pressed them out before showing on camera, but oh well. This is what I made for my mom. So yeah, I should have pressed them before putting on camera, but you'll forgive me. So her favorite thing in the world is pink flowers, pink roses. Oh my God. She would have the whole house, nothing but pink roses everywhere if I let her. I don't. And we have learned to coexist peacefully, even though our taste and preferences are very, very different. But we have made it work out. But when I wanted to make pillowcases for her, I was like, the pink roses are just so right on the money. And so that's what I made her. And this one I just did like the edge stitching. Let's see. You can see there. How well you can see that. But this burrito method is so cool because I'm going to show you the inside. Look how nice that is. So that's like where the edge, where the right at the top of the pillowcase. Look at that, it's beautiful. And then you have a seam on one side. This side is just where you press it to put a seam, and this is your sewn seam. But look, it's all encased. There's no raw edge. Isn't that gorgeous? So yeah, it's, to me, it's like a super nice gift if you have like I don't know, like a housewarming party or something, or even like for a teenager, because you know, teenagers are super hard to buy for. Just find out what they like, because there's fabric for every taste out there, and make them a set of these really cool pillowcases. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you've made it all the way through the video, oh, thank you so much. It means everything when you guys watch the whole videos. It just means a lot. I think that's all I have for you today, so I'm just going to wrap it up for now, and I'm going to say bye-bye, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.